5 powerful life lessons everyone should know. In this video, we're sharing 5 powerful life lessons everyone should know. People who died and returned with messages that could change the way we live right now. These aren't just stories about the afterlife. They're reminders of something beautiful, that you are more than your body, that you are deeply loved, and that when this life ends, there is light, there is peace, and there is home. Each story brings comfort, clarity, and a quiet invitation to grow, to love, to remember who you really are. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. What if everything you've heard about heaven being peaceful was true, but not in the quiet, still kind of way? What if it was vibrant, joyful, and full of celebration? That's what Tony Woodey found. He was caught in a near-fatal aircraft emergency, and in an instant, everything faded except for one thing: the light. There was no tunnel, no floating above his body, just light, pure golden light, alive and radiant. And from that light came something he never expected: joy, ecstasy, love like he had never known before. He said it felt like every loving mother in the universe was holding and cherishing him. And even that didn't come close to the real thing. He could feel that this presence, this being of light, was God. And God wasn't distant. God was thrilled to see him again. Tony described the experience as if God could have done backflips of joy. That's how much delight he felt in being reunited. And above all, he felt one truth beyond all others. Love isn't just a nice idea. It's not a feeling we chase. It's the most powerful force that exists. Here's a short moment from Tony that captures the scale of what he felt.
And so the love felt like I was the last newborn child to be born that's ever lived or ever will live again in the entire history of the universe, being hugged, loved, cradled, and cherished by every mother that had ever lived before that. And I had no idea that I was that loved. And I know it's the same for each and every one of you. That's the unconditional love that was flooding through me.
He came back with one clear message: the love you've felt in your life, it's just a drop compared to the ocean that's waiting for you. And maybe, just maybe, we're not meant to wait until we die to feel it. Maybe we're here to remember that kind of love now, to show it, to live it, to let it heal us and flow through us into the lives of others. If it's that beautiful on the other side, why not start bringing more of it into this side? Lesson 2. There's no judgment, only love and understanding. Many people fear what comes after death, not because of the unknown, but because of what they think they do know. Will I be judged? Will I be punished? Will I be rejected? But what if the truth is far more loving than that? Teri Rose died in a car crash in the 1970s, and instead of judgment, she found herself surrounded by light and love. She encountered a presence so pure, so full of compassion, that it radiated unconditional acceptance. It didn't scold her, it didn't shame her, it simply loved her. And yet, she still had a life review. She saw the things she'd done, how she had treated others, and it wasn't the light that judged her. It was her. She said she wanted to do better, not because she was told to, but because being in the presence of such love made her want to become more like it. Teri's experience is powerful, but it's not unique. Others, like Peter Panagore and Nancy Rynes and many others, describe the exact same thing. They saw their mistakes too, and yet all they felt from the divine was, I know you, I've always loved you. Here's Teri in her own words describing that moment of realization.
To be in this place and to be in this presence of this light that just unconditionally loved me made me want to treat people better and made me want to love myself. I think I was no different than a lot of people, that that are always criticizing themselves or feeling guilty about things. And all I wanted to do was come back and do better and love people and learn how to love and forgive and be a better person and have something better to offer.
It's easy to be hard on ourselves, to think we're not enough or that we've gone too far to be forgiven. But the lesson here is simple and true. We are not here to be condemned. There is no condemnation, only understanding and love. We're here to grow, and love is the teacher, not the judge. So if there's something in you that needs healing, some guilt, some shame, know this. Others have stood in the light, and that light embraced them as they were. You don't need to wait until your final breath to believe you're loved. You already are, right now. Lesson 3, you are loved, even if you never believed. What if you didn't have to believe in anything to be welcomed into everything? Nancy Rynes was an atheist. For over 20 years, she didn't believe in God, heaven, or any kind of afterlife. She thought this life was all there was, and when it ended, it ended. But during emergency surgery, after being hit by a car, Nancy died and opened her eyes in another realm. It wasn't dark, it wasn't frightening, it was beautiful, so stunning she could hardly take it in. She stood on a hilltop surrounded by glowing mountains and pearly skies, but what overwhelmed her the most was the love. She felt it pouring through her, this deep, peaceful, unshakable love. And then a message came. You are my child. Welcome home. You are loved beyond all measure. Even as she stood there thinking, but I don't believe in any of this, the love didn't leave. It didn't pull away. Instead, it responded with something even more powerful. You belong here. Nancy was stunned. She hadn't earned this. She didn't expect this. But she was still loved. And not just loved, completely accepted. Nancy isn't the only one who came back with that message. Teri Rose, Jeff Olson, and Victor Oddo said the same. No matter your beliefs, your doubts, your past, the love that waits for you isn't conditional. Here's Nancy in her own words, describing the moment she realized what was happening.
So when I woke up in this beautiful place with this love and acceptance just immediately around me, and I thought, oh my gosh, I looked around like this and I thought, I think I died. And I wonder if this is what heaven is like. And as soon as I thought that, then I wondered, this was an internal wondering. I thought to myself, but I don't believe in any of this. Why am I here? And I immediately got, it wasn't really a voice I heard with my ears. It was a voice I heard inside of me that said, you are my child, welcome home. You are loved beyond all measure. And I lost it. I started crying because it was so welcoming. I said, I don't believe in you. How come I'm here? And again, the message was, you belong here. This is your home.
So if you've ever questioned, if you've ever wondered whether you're spiritual enough or good enough, know this. The light doesn't ask for credentials. It just welcomes you home. And maybe, just maybe, we can start welcoming ourselves back to love while we're still here. Lesson 4, love heals every wound, even the ones we hide. We all carry wounds. Some are visible, but most are hidden. The memories we try to forget, the guilt we try to bury, the pain we've learnt to live with. But what if those wounds didn't have to stay with us forever? Jane Thompson was rushed into emergency surgery. A serious complication during a routine procedure left her unresponsive. She flatlined, and in an instant, she was no longer in the hospital. Instead, she found herself surrounded by light. But it wasn't just any light. It was intelligent, living, and made entirely of love. And as she stood in it, she began to feel something happening. That love didn't just comfort her, it began to heal her. She said it was as if the light was scanning her soul, filling in all the empty places she didn't even know were still hurting. She felt whole. For the first time in her life, she felt complete. And she realized something beautiful. Love doesn't need to fix us. It just needs to fill us. Others like David Ditchfield, Jeff Olson, Rynes Passaro, and so many more have described the same thing. An overwhelming sacred love that didn't just accept them, it restored them. Here's Jane in her own words, describing that soul-level healing.
The next thing I felt was an overwhelming sense of peace, that everything was okay and that everything was right, that all was well. I was getting a healing. I started to notice all the areas in my soul or in my energetic space where there were wounds or there were holes, and all of those areas were starting to get filled in, and they were getting filled in with love. I was being replenished, and it was the best feeling. It just made me feel like this is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what my soul is all about.
So if you're carrying hurt, if there are places in you that feel broken or left behind, let this remind you, love hasn't forgotten those parts of you, and healing is not only possible, it's already waiting for you. And maybe you don't have to die to start feeling whole again. Lesson 5. In the light, you remember who you really are. What if you didn't learn who you really are when you died, but remembered? That's what Victor Oddo experienced. He had been struggling physically, mentally, and spiritually. He wasn't seeking a spiritual awakening, but during a deeply traumatic moment, his soul was suddenly pulled from his body, and in the blink of an eye, he found himself in a realm of light. It wasn't just peaceful, it was vibrant, alive, full of love. He said the moment he arrived, he felt one thing more than anything else: familiarity, as if he had been there before, as if this was home. And then something else happened, something that changed him forever. He remembered who he was. He didn't just feel love, he knew he was love. A divine spark, a fragment of something infinite. He realized that all the fear, shame, and confusion he had carried on earth was part of a temporary illusion, and that beneath it all, he had never been broken, only forgetful. Others, like Peter Panagore, Tony Woodey, Natalie Sudman, and so many more describe this same experience, not learning who they are, but remembering it. Here's Victor describing that awakening in his own words.
And all of a sudden, before my very own eyes, I see an angel. I know, an angel? Really? Yeah, it was an angel. And it came over to me. And this angel looked like what I would think an angel looked like. It had wings, it had like this robe. It looked like not really a male or a female, just like a glorious angelic being came up to me, and it like wrapped me in its wings, and it gave me this hug. And in that moment, the love I was feeling and that I thought was the most intense love I've ever felt in my entire life exploded times a million. I just felt like I remembered that I was from there, or from a place like that I am a divine fragment of love, that is my true nature, that what I was experiencing in my life is a temporary illusion and just an experience that I chose to have. All these, like, didn't come in the form of like remembering things. I all of a sudden just knew that. I just knew that. I knew what I was. I knew where I was. I knew this angel was real.
That's the message he brought back. And maybe it's the one you needed to hear too. That you are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are not your past. You are love. You are light. You are already enough. And you don't have to wait until your final breath to return to that truth. You can start remembering it now. If even one of these lessons touched your heart today, then maybe it's because some part of you already remembers the truth. That love is where you came from and where you'll return. The people you've lost, they're not gone. They're home. And they are held in the same light that welcomed Tony, Teri, Nancy, Jane, and Victor. You don't have to wait for a near-death experience to grow, to heal, or to love deeper. You can start right now, because the same light that met them is already inside you. Until then, keep going, keep loving, and remember, you are never alone.